What's up guys, Blake from GCode Plus. Welcome back to yet another face-off head review video. This time, this one is not going to be nearly as long as what you guys are used to. Why? Well, because this head has already been out on the market. The only difference is the plastic being used. STX released their all-new face-off head, the Exit. This is the Flex version. They released this back a couple months ago, and I did a review video on it. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you check out that video as well. But during that video, we experienced probably the worst thing that could have happened to this head during an actual review session. The head cracked. It cracked right here in this spot. Man, was it a bummer. I was really hoping this head was going to do well. I've always liked STX. I've always liked what they brought to the table, specifically in the face-off world. The original Dual, Dual 2, I've always liked using those heads. So when they scrapped the Dual concept and went to the Exit, I was really pulling for this thing, and you know, it broke. That's just, at the end of the day, it broke. That was my experience. I can't justify using a head that broke for me. I'm not the only one. I had plenty of DMs saying that theirs also broke in the same exact spot. Yeah, I was just really upset. But again, guys, that's my personal experience. Everyone's experience is going to be different. You might like heads that I don't like, or you might not like heads that I like. My best advice is to try as many heads as you possibly can so you can get your own opinion on how the heads perform for yourself. Covering why this head broke. One or two reasons. The main reason why it broke, honestly, probably 99% of it is to blame on this one reason. It's the structure of the head. So when designing the Exit, STX clearly had the Mark IIF in mind. They wanted to make their own version of the Mark IIF, and they did, clearly, right? But the one thing that they failed to realize was this middle strut is where the Mark IIF takes the most amount of pressure. It gets stressed the most. And if you don't believe me, look at your Mark IIF. That strut, specifically on this side of the head, right here, takes all the stress. And when you put sidewall holes directly underneath it, that's most likely where it's going to crack. Now, this wasn't no catastrophic crack. Like, you could still use this if you wanted to, but I can't go around saying this head's durable if it's cracking the sidewall holes within the first session of me ever using the head. So structurally, it just seemed like they missed the mark here. This doesn't really make a lot of sense. If anything, they should have just filled in these holes here. But for the time being, I like to call it a band-aid solution. How do we make sure this head lasts longer? Well, you can still use the same mold. Let's just change the plastic. STX has decided to drop the purple Exit, aka the Stiff. And it says it actually right here on the scoop. This feels stiff, but nothing crazy stiff. I can still twist it in my hands. Not like an absolute tank of a head, but definitely stiffer than what we were used to with the green one or the Flex one. So by increasing the stiffness in the head, what that essentially does is it prevents us as users from stressing it as much. It takes a lot more strength and effort and time to get the head to start to warp this way, thus increasing the lifespan of the head. So I think it was a good call by STX to release a stiff version, because I also thought that once this thing was broken in, it almost felt a little too soft for me. Again, results may vary. I'm down here in Florida. All my heads are going to be extremely soft. But this Flex version just I was struggling to use it. I just couldn't find that bite point to really get the ball to get pinched by the plastic, and it was just collapsing inwards rather than these rails collapsing down. Again, full review video is out there on YouTube if you guys haven't seen it already. But when you get your hands on this thing, it's going to feel stiffer, and nothing crazy, just slightly stiffer. So I have already taken reps with the brand new Stiff, and we put it up against the original Flex. We do have GoPro footage to show you guys, but don't expect anything crazy different between how these heads perform. It might twist and bend a little bit differently, but at the end of the day, what we're hoping for is this going to make the head more durable? Can I use this longer? Is it going to pinch the ball better? So let's go ahead and roll that GoPro footage and then come right back, and I'll tell you guys my final thoughts on the all-new Exit Stiff.
Down. Set.
That sounds like
Set.
yeah. We'll get
Set.
Oh,
Set.
good. I'm coming.
Set. Set.
Connected.
Set.
No, sir.
Set. Set.
oh,
Set.
No, that's all mine.
Set.
It's all mine.
Pick it up and go.
Set.
Yep.
Down. Set. Set.
Yeah, just take it. You don't have to freaking.
Set.
Oh!
Set. Set.
Oh shit.
Set. Set.
Oh, yep.
Set. Set.
Where you going? Nope.
Set. 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 Set.
Oh.
Set.
All right, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed that GoPro footage. Here is the stiff after breaking it in, getting some reps with it. And yes, I will say this thing took a lot longer to break in than the original. Is this more durable? Absolutely. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's a stiffer plastic. Yes, it's going to be more durable, so it doesn't warp as bad. Okay, and the other good thing is we don't have any cracks right here. That's great. Phenomenal. No more cracking. Not to say it's not going to crack in the future, but it didn't crack during our initial session. So on paper, it's more durable than the Flex. It should be. It's a stiffer plastic. But when you have a stiffer plastic, how does it affect the feel of the head? Now, the Flex, I thought it was almost too flexible. I felt that it was collapsing in this way on the front side of the head, but with the stiff, it felt different. Yes, it's starting to pinch on the front side, but I liked it. This actually felt way better than the Flex, in my opinion. Again, results may vary, but I personally liked how this felt. This just felt more strong, had more of a backbone, and not as much of a wet noodle like this. This just felt extremely soft, like very, very soft, and I couldn't do much with it. This had a stiffer feel to it, and it allowed me to pinch the ball better, to crease it the way I want it to crease, and really just throw some plastic in there. And some of you guys might understand what I'm saying by throwing plastic in there. 2F guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can really warp the sides of the head and just shoot some plastic in there, but you can't do that if the head's too flexible. And I think the Exit Stiff has finally provided that for me. This felt closer to a 2F than the Flex. I felt like I could tie up better with it. I can pinch the ball a lot better with it. And obviously I can trust that the head's gonna last up a lot longer than the Flex. So not much to really discuss about how this head performed. I wouldn't say this is a direct carbon copy of the 2F, obviously, but I think it's definitely a step closer for STX. And I also think that the plastic used in this wasn't too stiff. Once I got, okay, I'll be honest. At first, it was a tank. It took me very long to break it in. But once I started getting this nice crease here, then it started feeling really good. And it felt good enough to where I didn't think that the stiffness was taking anything away from the head. Once you broke it in, this feels nothing like a Dual 3, if that's what you guys were wondering. I can tell you right now, this thing is not nearly, not even within the same parking lot of the Dual 3 when it comes to stiffness. This thing just feels like a step above the Flex. So any of you guys who are worried about this thing being an absolute tank like the Dual 3, trust me, it's not. Once you get this thing broken in, it feels really good, to the point where the stiffness doesn't really become an issue. It becomes more of a perk. The perk of having a stronger backbone, being able to grind in those 50-50s and not have the head fold within itself, and then be able to pinch the ball. I was able to pinch the ball so much better with this thing, so much better. So I like it. I definitely changed my mind about the Exit, at least the stiff. I still am not a big fan of the Flex. I would probably never use this, to be honest, but the stiff, if someone gave this to me and said, this is what you have to use, I'd be pretty happy about it. STX, I think you guys made a huge improvement changing the plastic in this thing. I will definitely use this stiff over the Flex. So if you guys have any questions on the STX stiff or even the STX Flex, make sure you check out that video. But any questions on this specifically, make sure you leave it down in the comment section below. I'm really curious to see what your guys' thoughts are if you end up picking one of these up. Hearing your guys' opinions and knowledge on these face-off heads is way more valuable to me than anything else. So please do not hesitate to leave a comment down there and just let us know how you feel about these heads, and let us know how they stack up amongst all the other heads that are out there right now in the market, because I have to do a video very soon on my top face-off heads for 2025. Can you guys guess what they are? Probably not. Maybe. Some of you guys have been fans for a very long time, so maybe you'll know my top list. But I will do a video ranking all of the current face-off specific heads. Not just random heads, but face-off specific heads. Heads that were designed for face-off. So if you guys want to see that video, make sure you leave that down in the comments below. Say, yes, please do that video. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe. Check out our Instagram at GKL+. And see you in the next video.